Peace, people. Please hit that like, subscribe, the share button. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. Please subscribe to my page. Today, I want to do a recap, a review of the first 12 days of the R.Kelly case. Okay, I'm going to start out with, a little bit of the stats that's going on, a little bit of history, and then we're going to talk about what's been happening during the trial. Okay, first thing is, as we know, R. Kelly's 54 years old. He's been in jail since 2019. He's facing 10 years to life in prison. He's being held for one count of racketeering. He's being held for 4 counts of the Mann Act. He's being held for sexual trafficking. Okay, you have 50 witnesses, 400 pieces of evidence to be used against him. The jury it's 7 men and 5 women. Okay, and you also have a woman judge on the case. Okay, some of his charges against him is that he beat these women, sexually abused them, mentally abused them, locked them up in rooms, starved them, wouldn't let them use the bathroom, spanked them, made sex videos with them, made them write blackmail letters, couldn't speak to anyone, he made them call him daddy, and, these are some of the things that he was accused of, all right? Let's talk about a little bit about R. Kelly's history. R. Kelly is not new to this, none of this, okay? In 1991, we all know, 1994, I'm sorry, he married Aaliyah, okay? We're gonna talk about that a little bit more into it, about the Aaliyah situation, okay? In 1996, he was sued by Tiffany Hawkins for emotional distress and saying that she started having sex with him when she was 15 years old in 1991. The relationship lasted 3 years. She had a settlement with R. Kelly for $250,000 in 1998. Okay, then he was sued by an intern who was 17 years old in 2001. They settled out of court. She said that R. Kelly basically used her as a sex slave. They settled out of court in 2001. In April of 2002, he was sued by Patrice Jones. Said that she was underage. She was having sex with R. Kelly. She got pregnant, and he forced her to have an abortion. Okay, then in May of 2002, he was also sued by another woman, Montana Woods, for videotaping him for having sex without her permission. That was settled out of court. Okay, in 2002 through 2004, he was arrested in Florida and charged with 12 counts of child pornography. This case was thrown out because they said the way the cops searched his house or whatever was unjustifiable. So it was thrown out. He got off on that one. 2017 in July, they accused him of running a cult. Okay, 2017 through 2018, these young ladies started coming out and saying that how he was treating them, and that's when everything kicked off. And then in 2019, we know he was charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, and the Mann Act. Okay, so before we even get into it, R. Kelly has a long track record of doing this type of things. Inappropriate sexual behaviors with minors, and this shit just didn't start with this case. Okay. All right. we know that in 1994, he married Aaliyah. Aaliyah was 15 years old, okay? He married her, she got a phony ID stating that she was 19 when she was only 15. One of his people went somewhere and had somebody forge a phony ID, okay? R. Kelly married her because, I don't know, he suggested that she was pregnant. And I guess he felt he could cover it up or whatever, but it all came out, and eventually they got their marriage annulled. Okay, we know Aaliyah died August of 2001 in a plane crash, you know. But you gotta remember, he made that song, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. She sang it, but R. Kelly wrote that song, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. And I guess at that point, that's the way he was looking at it, but that's not the way the world was looking at it. And then it was also an allegation that, you know, allegedly, a rumor that he was supposed to be doing something with her mother. I don't know how true that is, you know, people make shit up. But you never know. In these circles, you never know, okay? But everybody know about the Aaliyah situation and, you know, how he took advantage of her for the same reason. She wanted a music career. But one thing about her, he gave her a music career. A lot of these other young ladies, they didn't get the music careers that he promised them. But she did. Aaliyah, you know, he did help out with her music career. Okay. The first witness that was on the stand was Geronda Pace. Geronda Pace is now 28 years old. She's pregnant. Said she met R. Kelly when she was 14 years old at his 2008 trial. Okay, she was one of his, a member of his fan club. And she met him at the trial. He befriended her, you know, he lured her in or whatever. And he took her to his house and he raped her. Took her virginity. She was 16 years old, but the thing about her, she lied about her age. She lied and told R. Kelly that she was of age. But right before the sex thing happened, I guess when he was in the process of taking it or whatever, she told him that she was only 16. He told her it didn't matter. Keep telling people she's 19, and when she's out on the street, act like she's 21. Okay? She claimed R. Kelly choked her, beat her, spit in her face, and gave her herpes. Okay? She got out of this. She ran away from him and told her mother what happened, and that's when the whole thing started, you know, coming out about R. Kelly, you know, really with these young girls. I mean, it was out already, but she was the person that came out and started saying what R. Kelly had did to her as far as giving her herpes and beating her and things of that nature. Okay. The next witness they had was a former employee. Okay, a guy, Anthony Navarro. Okay, he was employee of R. Kelly's, and he said that he often called R. Kelly's house the Twilight Zone. He said that he never witnessed R. Kelly do anything sexually, like abuse these women, but he was very extremely controlling, and they had to do everything that he said, and he would hold them in the rooms and wouldn't let them out and things like that. But he said R. Kelly was very controlling, but he never witnessed R. Kelly sexually abuse any of these young ladies. Okay. Next up was Demetrius Smith. He's a former manager of R. Kelly's. He's actually the guy that paid the people to get the phony ID for Aaliyah. Okay, he was one of the people they're looking at to connect these racketeering charges on R. Kelly, because he was the person that arranged them to get the ID so he can marry Aaliyah in Chicago when she was only 15 years old. Okay, and that that was basically his testimony, you know, to talk about the fake ID or whatever. Okay. Then the next woman was Azriel McClary. Everybody know Azriel McClary was one of the women that stayed with R. Kelly through most of this stuff. She said that she met R. Kelly at a concert with her parents. She was at a concert with her parents, and R. Kelly was giving out these wristbands, and it was a Black Panty concert or whatever, and he was throwing out these panties, and apparently somebody saw her, gave her the band, he threw her the panties, and she ended up backstage somewhere with him. She was looking for a musical career or whatever, and R. Kelly told her that he could help her with her career. Somehow or another, R. Kelly finagled his way into having this girl move with him to Chicago, and beginning having this relationship with her. You know, at first she was going back and forth, and he told her that was too much. You know, he wanted her to move to Chicago. Okay, she had a private audition for him in a hotel room, and he raped her and gave her herpes. He gave her herpes as well. Okay, R. Kelly abused this girl for a long time. She was with him for 5 years. I mean, she said that he gave her herpes, he beat her with a shoe, he made her have sex with another man, he made her put feces all over her face or whatever. He made videos of her. He made her write blackmail letters to her family and her friends and everything. And, you know, this went on. She also said that she had got pregnant by R. Kelly, and he made her have an abortion. Allegedly, what she said was the same thing happened to Aaliyah. You know, that's what she said. Okay, R. Kelly was in his late 40s when he started dealing with her or whatever, and you know, it's the same R. Kelly story. Okay, if you want, you could go back and look in my other videos when I actually did them on the dates. It goes more into details about, you know, what happened. But right now I'm just doing like a summary and a review. Okay, yeah, she was with him for 5 years, and you know, she was one of the last ones to leave him, I believe. And you know, they also, the defense made her read her testimony because they wanted to put her on the spot and make her story sound a little shaky or whatever. You know, she also said that R. Kelly, she was one of the girls that was on the Gayle King interview for R. Kelly. Said R. Kelly made her lie about everything. Everything she said was scripted. He told him what to say, and you know, and pretty much that's how the Gayle King thing went. You know, just like he was up there acting and screaming and crying and bullshitting. You know, he told these girls to get up there and put on a performance as well. The next person was a pastor, Keith Williams. Keith Williams was a longtime friend of R. Kelly's before he became famous. Okay, he's the preacher that recommended the other pastor who married Aaliyah and R. Kelly. Okay, the next person was a former road manager. He said everybody did whatever R. Kelly told them to do. They was basically afraid of R. Kelly. He would dock them. They'd pay if they didn't do what he wanted them to do or the way he wanted them to do it. And if they didn't follow his instructions, you know, it was the same thing. He said he used to ask her about Aaliyah. He used to ask him about Aaliyah. He said R. Kelly was always very reluctant to talk about Aaliyah. Okay. Then they had his doctor that came on, and his doctor is like a friend of his, I guess you could say. His doctor is somebody that comes to his house, been in his studios, goes to his concerts, go out to eat with him, do listening sessions with him. But the doctor testified that R. Kelly did have herpes and that he was treating R. Kelly for herpes since the 90s. Okay, so these women are not lying when they come out saying R. Kelly is giving them herpes, because the doctor said he prescribed the medication and treat R. Kelly for the herpes. Said he never received any money from R. Kelly for any treatments that he ever did for him, but they was good friends, and he basically, I guess, took care of his friend when he got sick or needed him, or, you know, he got the herpes and needed some medicine. Okay? The next woman was someone that called herself Faith. Said R. Kelly gave her herpes as well. Okay? Said that she tried to tell R. Kelly to use a condom. He didn't want to use a condom. He said he didn't need one. She was 19 when she met R. Kelly at a concert in Texas in 2017. She said they had a sexual relationship for about 11 months. She said that at some point she started getting bumps on her mouth and her tongue. She went to the doctor and found out she had herpes in the mouth. She hired a lawyer to go after R. Kelly about this. R. Kelly denied it, said that he didn't know what she was talking about. She's 24 years old now, and said how it started. Somebody gave her a backstage pass for R. Kelly's, you know, the same thing. One of his cronies gave her a backstage pass. She went backstage with R. Kelly. She said that they had a relationship for only a month, but she said it was after R. Kelly pressured her into sex and recorded it. Okay? And said she also said one time he made her give her oral sex and threatened her by having a gun on the table next to her head while she was doing it. Okay? She was also a person that was on the Surviving R. Kelly's show. Okay? So her story's been told already. Okay? But that's what happened to her. Okay, then you had Nathan Edmonds that testified. He was the minister that actually did the Aaliyah wedding. He said that he was sworn to secrecy about this wedding. He couldn't tell nobody or whatever. He said he really didn't get a good look at Aaliyah because she had her hair covering her face. So he couldn't really tell how old she was or whatever, but said that he did marry them in 1994, okay? But he's basically saying that he didn't realize he thought it was on the up and up. He was recommended by a friend of his that was the first pastor I mentioned earlier, and he married them, and that's pretty about it. He didn't really know much about R. Kelly. He didn't know much about Aaliyah, okay? Then it was a Stephanie, who's now 39 years old. When she was 17, she said R. Kelly abused her, and degraded her. She was in high school in 1998. She met R. Kelly at a McDonald's, the same McDonald's that they say he always frequent to pick up these young girls and things of that nature. Said that somebody gave her R. Kelly's number. Said she didn't use it at the time. She basically threw it away. But she saw R. Kelly at another time at a sneaker appearance, a Nike sneaker appearance, and she said that's when she exchanged the numbers with him. But it was really supposed to be for her friend that wanted to sing. R. Kelly told her if she wanted her friend to be on, she had to come in and check him out. Okay, R. Kelly took her to some sound studio, had sex with her. She was 17 years old at the time. She had sex with him, dated him, I guess, for 6 months, and said she was also scared of him, and that he recorded the sex with them, and said the last time she had seen him had sex with him or whatever was 1999. Okay. Also, she told R. Kelly told her that that he's a genius like Jerry Lee Lewis, and that he should have a right to be with whoever he wants because both of them was musical geniuses. But Jerry Lee Lewis was a nut. I don't know how many people old enough to remember who Jerry Lee Lewis is. He married his 13-year-old cousin and was arrested for it too for taking her across state lines. Yeah, this is the person he compares himself to. Somebody that married his 13-year-old cousin? Huh? Yeah, that's crazy. Then it was another woman that testified, said she met R. Kelly 2001 at a concert in Miami. She was 17 years old. Said R. Kelly invited her and her friend backstage. and she went backstage. And this is kind of suspicious to me, this story here, because she said that her and her friend went backstage and R. Kelly ripped her pants off and raped her, didn't use no protection. And she never said anything about this for 20 years. She never said nothing about this till now. Okay, and it was her and her friend. Now, if he ripped her pants off and raped her without protection, it's all kind of evidence. It's DNA evidence, you got the ripped clothes, you got a witness. Why didn't this girl come forward? That part I didn't understand, because it's like, okay, you should have reported it. You know, like I said in the video that I made about this, even if you was afraid to come out and say it because you was embarrassed with her, you could have still got some money out of them. Hey, I'm going to take you to court, civil court, I'm going to sue you. You know, you understand what I'm saying? It was, or either you don't pay up, I'm going to tell, like everybody else do. But, yeah, she never said anything about it. And to me, it's kind of confusing. You know what I mean? You go 20 years, you don't say nothing. Now you come out with it, and you can't get nothing for it, and you could have got something for it at the time. That I don't understand. Okay, all right. Then you had a male that testified, said that he met R. Kelly. He was working in the drive-thru, and I'm not sure if it's the same McDonald's that he met this other young lady at, but he said he was working on the drive-thru, and said R. Kelly started talking to him. And he said he wanted to be a rapper. So R. Kelly told him, you know what? You know, let's see what I could do. So he met up with R. Kelly. R. Kelly asked him how bad did he want it? How bad did he want it? You know, so the guy said, I want it bad. I'm willing to do anything. I'll clean your car, I'll mop your floors, I'll do whatever I can to, you know, whatever. Said R. Kelly unzipped his pants, got on his knees, and gave him fellatio. And he said it didn't happen just one time, it happened more than one time. And he said one time while him and R. Kelly were together, R. Kelly has a garage apparently that he turned into a sex dungeon, because in another situation, a young lady said that R. Kelly had abused her in the garage. He had a boxing ring in his garage, and said the girl came out naked from under the garage, under the boxing ring, and gave both of them oral sex. Okay, so, you know, he came out and said R. Kelly was, you know, doing dudes too. I was like, wow, that one, you know, I always heard about R. Kelly with the women, but with the dudes was a new one. But do it surprise me? Hell no, it don't surprise me, because that's the way these Hollywood people and these celebrities, they get down like that. They be switch hitters and shit. You know, you see it with all these fine ass girls on these videos or whatever, and they be switch hitting their ass off. So, you know. Then the next person was Suzette Mayweather. Suzette Mayweather was a former assistant from R. Kelly from 2015 to 2017. She testified that she saw the girls twerking for cake, for pieces of cake. Yeah, like ice cream and cake, twerking for cake. Okay, and said that R. Kelly got a whim of it and got pissed off, took the girls upstairs and made them fight each other. Said she didn't actually witness the fighting, but she could hear all of the tussling and the crying and the screaming and the laughing and, you know, I guess things that go on along with somebody fighting. And said that R. Kelly even punished her. He said, well, he punished her for talking to one of the girls. One of the girls said something about she really just came there to be a writer or something with music, and R. Kelly found out about it, got pissed off with her, threatened to fire her, but instead of firing her, he made her go to Junior's 2 o'clock in the morning and get, not Junior's, Walmart, 2 o'clock in the morning, and get him some Patti LaBelle pie. 2 o'clock in the morning, made her take an Uber to get some Patti LaBelle pie as a punishment to her. Somebody that worked for him. Yeah. If she didn't do it, she was going to be fired. Okay. She was also one of the people that enforced the Rob rules. The Rob rules was to make sure the girls don't talk to nobody, don't look at nobody, dress a certain way, couldn't leave their rooms. Was a person, I guess, that okay when they could go to the bathroom or whatever. But she was one of the people that was enforcing these rules on these girls. Okay, so she was part of it. And this is part of the racketeering thing about him having these people to do the dirty work for him. Okay. Then he met someone they call herself Faith. She's 24 years old now. She met R. Kelly. She was 19 years old at a concert in Texas. She said she had relationships with R. Kelly for a month. Said he gave her herpes as well. Okay, yeah, he gave her herpes as well. She got a lawyer, and she started pursuing to sue R. Kelly about this herpes thing. Okay, then they had a DNA expert that came up and testified. They had two witnesses that was, one was a DNA witness and one was a tech witness. The DNA witness testified about what he found on the shirt that Geronda Pace said that she had wiped her face with semen. So his testimony was to see if the semen matched R. Kelly's. Then you had a tech witness that was testifying about the laptops, 2 iPhones, and iPads that R. Kelly was using. Okay, the DNA expert name was UPU. He examined her T-shirt. When Pace was a teenager, she said R. Kelly had spit on her, choked her, slapped her until she passed out because she texted a friend to him. And he said that R. Kelly made her have oral sex, did his business on her face, and she wiped her face with the shirt. The DNA expert said that the semen on the shirt matched R. Kelly's DNA. So that was true. Okay, then the next person was Chris Wilson. He was a forensic computer expert who testified about the iPhones, the laptops, and the things that R. Kelly was, recording data and saving things on. He said that he was able to get into all of the devices. He said he really didn't see too much. He said one disturbing letter was from a young girl to R. Kelly stating that that she wanted to be with R. Kelly, and he was telling her that he wanted to groom her and bond with her or whatever. Said the text was sent in December 24th, 2017. But you remember the earlier girl said that R. Kelly groomed them also. So, he's telling her that you're young, there's a lot of things you don't know that he's willing to teach her. So he said that jumped out to him, as far as, the things that R. Kelly was doing, but he didn't say anything else about anything else that he really found. Okay? There was another testimony from a woman who called herself Kate, said R. Kelly paid her $200,000 2 years ago for a lawsuit. Said he gave her herpes as well, and she said that she was concerned about it because she was 27 years old. See, her case is a little different. All the rest of these girls were young. This woman was 27 years old. She met R. Kelly through a mutual friend. And she was concerned about R. Kelly's history because she was aware of his history. And this is why I say her story is shaky too. She said that before she had sex with R. Kelly, she asked him to use a condom. He told her no, he wasn't using a condom. But she still had sex with him after she was afraid already of him possibly giving her something. Well, he gave her something. He gave her herpes. She was concerned about herpes or AIDS. He gave her herpes. Okay, and now, she got a settlement. She got paid. So to me, the $200,000 worth of herpes, I don't know, but she got a settlement. Okay, and this wasn't that long ago. All right. So then it was another person, 31 years old, used the name Alexis. Okay, she was a reluctant witness. She didn't want to testify. They had to drag her into court. They had to subpoena her. And they said that even her testimony was like vague, hazy, like she didn't really want to tell anything or whatever. She was subpoenaed, okay? She was subpoenaed to the point and didn't want to talk, to the point where the defense didn't even call her. The defense just let her go. But she said that she met R. Kelly at a concert in Jacksonville, Florida in 2002, I believe. She lived there in Jacksonville, Florida. She was only 15 years old. She said that the first time she went to see R. Kelly in Chicago, she was 17 years old. Her story's kind of shaky too. Said that she met R. Kelly at 17 in Chicago, right? And she said she didn't have sex with R. Kelly. Okay, she didn't have sex with him, but she said when she was 18 or 17, she wasn't sure if she was 18 before she had sex with him. So the first time she went to see him, she was 17. Apparently she went back, but she claimed that she couldn't remember whether she was 17 or 18, which is kind of suspicious to me, because you can remember I met him at 15, I went to see him at 17, but I don't remember whether I was 17 or 18 the first time I had sex with him, okay? And this is somebody also that stayed with him for 10 years. This woman stayed with him for 10 years. So, I don't know. You know, there's a lot of evidence against R. Kelly, but some of these women's stories are a little shaky. You know, but honestly, I don't think R. Kelly's gonna walk. Okay, that's from day 1 to day 12 review. But if you want to know more in the details, go back and look at my videos, because they're more in the details about what happened and who, what, when, where, why. This was basically me doing a review on what happened up until this point, for maybe some people didn't see the earlier videos. But hey, I appreciate you guys watching my videos. Please like, subscribe, and share. Hit that thumbs up, and please subscribe to my videos. I appreciate it. You guys have a good day. Peace.